Alright guys, we're back again. Bad news, the chain on the 029 is stuffed. Not stuffed to the point of not being able to use it, but it's pretty well stuffed. Just using a good quality shifter or crescent wrench, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you live. And we're checking the tolerances of the chain. So we've definitely got a big gap here, a big tolerance that shouldn't be there. And this link itself almost looks like it's filed on two separate angles. I'll just move in a bit closer here. There we go, there you can see it a bit better. So, you can see the tooth on the left looks good, looks like it's supposed to. It's got nice angle on it and everything, it's nice and the angle's good. You got a good 30 degrees there. Whereas this tooth, wait for it to focus, come on. Come on, do something. Right. Almost looks like it has two separate angles on it. And it's quite a bit shorter than this tooth. Sorry, I'm trying to work through the camera as well as with my own eyes here. So this tooth is fine, but it's also a lot longer than this tooth. So we're going to have to sort that out. Alright, let's get I've got your zooms back out here. Now, my newest acquisition is a proper filing kit. I've used, all the separate items, the separate file and guide and all that sort of stuff. But I decided to flesh out and get myself an actual proper little self-contained kit. Everything from the raker guide, or the depth gauge tool, to depth gauge file, as well as the round file and guide. That's what we're going to use today because it's a little bit more accurate than the 2-in-1 file guide that we also use. So first thing we need to do is we need to flip the saw around here because we need to file the one tooth on the other side until we get it to where we want it to be. So I'll flip the saw around here and I'll get back to you. So we've flipped ourselves around here. We have to pick a tooth. I think we'll go with this one here because it's filed such a bad angle. We're going to have to fix it. So we've got our angles on the file guide themselves. This is actually a focus on an actual steel brand for a 325 file with the screw locks as opposed to just the clips, which I like because I find it locks onto the file better. So just going to find our angle here. And locking the chain, we're going to go to town here. We're going to fix up this tooth. I need to sort of be at this angle here, it's a bit easier for me. Now the file guide here does two things. Obviously it gives you your angles that are engraved into the tool itself, but it also prevents your file from dropping too far down into the tooth. Which is always a good thing. Right, so that tooth is looking pretty good. I'll give it a few more strokes. Okay, that's pretty presentable in my eyes. So we're going to take our little micrometer here. Right, so we have brought it back quite a ways. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to work my way around the chain, filing these side cutters and getting them all nice back and straight. I think it was about 8 or 9 strokes it took to do that. But we'll work our way around that side of the chain, bring all the cutters back into their angles. We can double check the angles with our U-Butte tool here, with our 30 degrees there. That's pretty good. So we're going to work our way around and I'll get back to you guys when I'm all done with that side. Had to do about 10 strokes on each tooth. I mean, this is only an 18-inch bar, it's not that bad, but still, that sucked. Proper chain sharpening, guys, it'll save you a lot of work. I'm just going to check our tolerances here. This is the starter tooth, the one that's coloured in here. Sort of hard to tell it's coloured, but it definitely is. So that's about good. And this is definitely not good. So We'll take a few strokes on this tooth and see if we can get it to fit. See how we go with 5 strokes. It's probably still not going to be good, but yeah, not quite. God damn, 10 strokes isn't even going to do it. Another 5. And another 5. It's getting close. Definitely getting close. Oh crap. Way off my angles there for a minute. Right, so that'll bring it up to 20 strokes. 25 strokes, sorry, and we're good. So now I begin the lovely job of doing 25 strokes on all the other cutters. That should be fun. I'll be back with you guys in a minute. Done. Finally. That's right, I only wanted to commit suicide about 4 times. So we're all good to go. Sort of been checking the angles as I've been going, every sort of 3rd or 4th tooth. They're not perfect, but they're fine for, you know, for a little bit of cutting, and then when they get touched up the next time, when it's only 2 or 3 strokes, not fucking 25, I'll bring the angles back in a bit better. So now that we've taken a lot off those teeth, the rakers are going to need to be dressed. So probably these ones will be the worst. Yeah, they're going to need to be brought down quite a bit. So I'll bring you guys in and I'll show you how that works. Alright, so we're sort of a little bit out of focus here, but it's not too bad to bring my hand in here. There we go, so you can see what's going on there. Awesome. So, of all the videos I've seen of chain sharpening, maybe 4 or 5 mention the rakers or the depth gauges. Technically they're not rakers in a sort of a traditional crosscut saw way. They're depth gauges. They limit how far the tooth can cut into the wood, just so you don't get a lot of kickback and you don't bog down the saw too much. So for this, it's very simple. We place it over the tooth. This is a steel one. It's gives you all the angles, and as well as a bar measurement gauge. It does have the focus. Come on, focus, you big bastard. It's not going to work. Anyway, yeah, basically it has some incremental measurements on the tool. Oh, there you go, you can sort of see them there. Basically how deep your bar groove is. You can also use this to clean out the bar groove. So it's a good all-round little tool. Has all kinds of angles, even on the side, on the top, gives all kinds of angles and stuff. So it's a good tool to have. But the main thing it gets used for is this depth gauge tool. So it's very simple. You place it on the tooth with the depth gauge sticking out, and anything that sticks up above this little drop down section here, is what you want to knock off. So this is generally pretty good. It's going to be so I'm knocking off quite a bit of the tooth there. You can always run the file back and forth across so you can see we're still catching that, so we're going to knock it off just that little bit more, and then we're still catching. So this is another tedious process, but you know, cranky tunes and just it's all pretty. So that's nice and good now. Clear's fine. So now we move on to the next tooth. It's as simple as that. Next tooth and do the same job. You don't need to skip every other tooth because it'll work either way with this little tool. Now because of all the metal we took off these teeth, they are going to need quite a bit of addressing with the depth gauge tool. So alright, I'll get that done and I'll come back to you guys for a final closing, I guess. Alright guys, we're back here. We finished up with the A29. I'm going to pack up some stuff here. Had someone come around with a machine they wanted me to have a quick look at. So another quick tip: if you're going to have a bit of dirty fuel for cleaning parts or anything along those lines, you don't want to keep it open. Keep it in a nice seal container. This is just a coffee jar. It's waterproof and it's fume proof, which is the most important part, so it won't leak fumes everywhere. And also so it doesn't catch fire. And stuff an old rag down in there so that it'll soak up anything, any sort of drips that are left. Paint away. Alright, so the A29 is done. The teeth are back in order. I've checked them, double checked them, triple checked them. The teeth are back in angle. The kit we used, the still kit, is fantastic. I'm just going to do a little bit of a, I don't know if I'd call it a review or not, but this is it. So like I showed you before, it doesn't come with this extra file. That's something I purchased for the kit. And the literature. I've mentioned this before in a previous video, but hang on to your literature, guys. It's not all just how-tos and all that stuff you already know about. Like this one here, it gives you a reference on your chain numbers, what size file you need for the chains, like your pitches, all your measurements, all that sort of stuff. It all comes in handy. All the stuff that, you know, if you can remember it off the top of your head, more power to you. But I know the average Joe citizen can't, so that's why we hang on to them. But so it comes with your literature, it comes with your file and file guide. These are my preferred type with the screw-in lock bars for the back of the file. Comes with the depth gauge tool as well as the angle tool and the bar cleaning tool, all sort of in one. And then this flat file to knock them down. Now this is a nice narrow flat file, nice and small, so it'll fit between the teeth so that it doesn't actually cut into the tooth. So nice and narrow, nice and short. Same with all files. You want to cut on the push stroke, you don't want to drag it back across the tooth because you'll do damage. But that's it, and it all folds up. It does have some snaps on the sides to make it a little bit more secure, I guess. Snap it in, wrap the velcro around it, and it keeps it all nice and contained, and it can go in the toolbox with the logo, of course. So let's get the flat fold down in there. So the A29's done. It's nice and sharp, ready to cut wood. I'm just going to put a little bit more tension in this chain. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Again, I'm not going to get into chain tension. I'm not getting into that argument with anybody. You know, you don't like the way I tension my saws, don't use my saws. That's it. Simple as that. So, well, thanks for watching, guys. Should be a few videos up over a few days, 3 or 4. But yeah, comment on the video. Call me a dickhead, I don't care. Just leave me a comment, drop me a line. I'm always around. If I can't answer your question, I'll find the answer. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.